I will definitely be reading The Divorce. The premise is a bit weird. She's very hard to keep up with. We are having an extremely bougie weekend. Emery's Crime here, your fellow crime thriller and mystery book lover. Welcome to my YouTube channel. One of my reading goals, hopefully for 2026, is to complete Freida McFadden's backlist. However, at the rate that she's releasing books, she's releasing 3 or 4 books a year, she's very hard to keep up with. So in order to try and help me get through reading a chunk of her books, this week I'm only going to be reading Freida McFadden books. I've done this vlog in the past, and last time I managed to read 4 books. I might not quite manage that many this time because of the little man, but I'll certainly do my best. I'm aiming for at least 3. On my physical TBR, I have these 6 books of hers, including The Divorce, her upcoming release. I was extremely lucky to get my hands on a copy of this before it's released. I will definitely be reading The Divorce as part of this reading vlog because I am desperate to read this book before it comes out. However, in order to try and motivate me to read as many as possible, I'm going to save that towards the end, and I'm going to start off with The Inmate. I'm going to stop waffling and get started on this straight away. Upstairs because the little man has just fallen asleep on Tim. I didn't want to disturb him, but I'm just over 100 pages through the book, and so far so good. There's not much I can say at this moment apart from it's classic Freida, very addictive, short punchy chapters, very fast paced. The chapters end on cliffhangers which make you keep wanting more and more. At the moment I think it's really obvious where the story is going to go, but I always say that, and she always hits me with a shocking twist. I will see you tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow, or maybe the day after tomorrow, once I finish the book. Hello my friends, I finished The Inmate last night and I forgot to tell you what it's about. Main character Brooke gets a job as a nurse practitioner in a maximum security prison. However, there's a slight problem. Her ex-boyfriend is serving a sentence there, and she is the reason that he's there in the first place. As with most of Freida's books, it was easy, bingeable, light, but what I did find was quite a lot of it was quite obvious where it was going to go. There was a couple of twists, but it was missing that shock twist factor, which I've come to expect from Freida's work. I did enjoy it, however, and I ended up giving it 3.75 stars out of 5. Then on the subject of prison, last night I very quickly binged Death Row, which is a short story written by Freida as part of the Alibi collection. Main character, I think her name is Talia, is on death row, and she has been accused of murdering her husband, but she claims to be innocent. Typically, I'm just not a fan of short stories because I find them lacking in plot and character. And unfortunately, this was no exception. I also found the main character really annoying, and some of the measures she took were very drastic and dramatic. I've seen people talk about how much they hate the twist, but I actually quite enjoyed the twist. That was probably my favourite part of the whole story. But overall, I thought it was meh, and I gave it 2.25 stars out of 5. Then I also made a start on The Surrogate Mother by Freida McFadden. I was worried that as I'm a new mum, this might trigger me, but I'm about 60 pages in, so about 20% of the way through, and I'm not feeling triggered at all. Main character Abby is desperate for a baby, and after years of infertility treatment failures and adoption that falls through, her assistant offers to become a surrogate for her. The premise is a bit weird, like when would a personal assistant ever offer to be a surrogate for their boss? But apart from that, so far so good, and I will check in with you shortly. Hello everybody, so I'm in a bit of a different location to usual because we are having an extremely bougie weekend away with friends, like 16 of us, so we've had this like haul and it's stunning, but between us it was really cheap. But yeah, I'll show you some clips of it because it's incredible. So I finished The Surrogate Mother, and this was one of her early-ish releases, and I think you can tell, even though it's written in her usual sort of style, it was quite slow paced compared to her other books. For the most part, I felt that you could see where the story was going to go, and I thought that there was some glaringly obvious plot holes, but of course there were some shocking twists towards the end as well. I didn't hate it, but I was a little bit disappointed, but I do think her writing has improved so much more since she released this. So I ended up giving it 3 stars out of 5, and I really do think that her writing has improved so much more since she released this. I brought my copy of The Divorce with me away for this weekend. I don't know if I'll get much reading done, but I have it just in case, and I'll probably end up doing this vlog for slightly longer than a week just because I want to make sure that I finish this book when I end the vlog. Anyway, as I said before, I will give you a quick tour of this place because it's incredible, and I will catch you later. So I am currently nap trapped, which is my favourite thing ever. I'm going to make a start on the divorce and I will keep you updated. Hello everybody, we are back home. We had such a lovely weekend away and I'm in my future library stroke current book room of absolute chaos. I binged half of that book so quickly. So in the divorce we follow married couple Jeremy and Naomi, and Jeremy wants a divorce and he essentially trades her in for a younger, prettier model. And of course Naomi ends up developing an unhealthy obsession with Jeremy's new girlfriend. It is obviously a tale as old as time, but it is told in a classic Freida McFadden style. I thought that the way that Jeremy breaks up with Naomi was a bit daft. He basically lies to her and tells her that they are doing up the house. He packs up his stuff, asks her to go and stay at his late mother-in-law's, get the house ready so then him and their son can go stay with them, and then the next day he goes to the house and tells her that it's a ruse, there was a whole ruse and they're not coming and that's her new place to live for the time being. So I thought that was a bit daft, but I'm not surprised. I wouldn't have it any other way when it comes to a Freida McFadden book. But this being said, I was hooked. I could not put the first half of the book down whatsoever. It was so good. It was so fast paced, just what you would expect from Freida. I didn't get a chance to finish the rest of the book while I was away because, you know, we're spending time with friends, but hopefully I will get the rest of the book finished tonight and then I'll be able to give you an update tomorrow. Also, while I've got your attention, if you've made it into the video this far, then thank you ever so much. I honestly appreciate it so much. If you're able to hit that subscribe button or give this video a cheeky hype, I would really greatly appreciate it. If you enjoy what you're seeing but like a different style content from me, you can also find me on Instagram and on TikTok. As well as TikTok and Instagram, you can also find me on Goodreads and Storygraph. And if you're interested in my book reviews, that's where I put my book reviews before they go anywhere else. Anyway, hopefully I will see you tomorrow with my final review of The Divorce. Good morning, excuse the state of my hair. I am about to get it cut. It is in dire need of a very good cut. But anyway, so I finished The Divorce last night and honestly it ticks a lot of boxes for me. It was an extremely easy read. I devoured it in 2 sittings. There's lots of rich people drama, there's lots of mum playground drama, and I know that's not for everybody, but it's something I personally really enjoy. Something a bit unexpected during the second half of the book was it tugged on some of my heartstrings a bit, which I've never had from a Freida book before. I really enjoyed this one. She's on a roll. I love Dear Debbie by her and this was also great. I didn't quite enjoy it as much as Dear Debbie, so I settled on a strong 4 stars out of 5. So just to quickly recap, so I started off this vlog reading The Inmate and I gave that 3.75 stars out of 5. And while I was on the subject of prisons, I read her short story Death Row and I gave that 2.25 stars out of 5. I'm just not really a short story person. I then gave 3 stars to The Surrogate Mother. It's one of her earlier pieces of work and I think that her writing has come on a long way since then. And then to end on a high, I finished with The Divorce, which was my favourite book of the reading vlog, and I gave it 4 stars out of 5. If you've enjoyed this vlog, as I said before, I've actually done this in the past, so I'll link that here for you. I will also link my latest video here for you if you've not had a chance to check it out. What is your favourite Freida McFadden book? Will you be reading The Divorce? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you. Bye!